Hello, and welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here. Infinite Vice Rhino over there. Cirrus is on his way. He's just having issues with his well again. Because apparently there is an infinite number of ways that a hole in the ground that's just deep enough to hit groundwater can break. It's a hole in the ground. How do you break a hole in the ground? Yeah, no, the repair guy is there at the well right now. But whenever Cirrus gets here, he should replace my infinite face over there. But meantime, you get two of me. Ha. I mean, I guess I could turn that off. And then you just have the OBS camera turned off logo. Oh, one, the light bulb can mess up and set the hole in the ground on fire. How does a hole full of water get lit on fire? Come on, I don't believe that one. That's not true. No. It's a hole in the ground with a pump. Those can be troublesome. But he didn't say the pump was broken. He said his well was broken. To me, if the well is broken, that means it's out of water. You need to move your ass. I mean, he lives in Georgia, so he needs to move his ass anyway. No, really, that actually happened. Shut the fuck up. No, it didn't. I don't believe you. The hole full of water did not catch fire because of a light bulb. It's okay. Cirrus is on his way in right now. He told me he's at his PC. That was 4 minutes ago. Oh, here we go. Admit. Start virtual camera. Cat lady showing up. Now. Hi.
There we go. Now I've actually got myself online. That was a pain in the ass.
Okay, so answer something for me.
No.
Sean Helfin in my chat is so
Yeah?
I was asking, like, how many ways are there for a hole in the ground with water in it to break?
A lot.
And apparently one of the ways that it broke in the past is that a light bulb malfunctioned and set fire to the water hole?
Yes.
Your water okay. You're
Our
not allowed on this
watering
channel
hole.
anymore, because if you can set fire to the watering hole,
Yeah?
I need to fucking find a new co-host.
That's, honestly, I understand your trepidation. I do. It makes perfect sense. Were I you, I would also be scared. Counterpoint, I'm also scared.
So how's your big wet hole?
I don't have. I don't have
You don't no big wet hole?
no big wet hole.
Your big wet hole is running dry?
Yeah, pretty much.
What if I do an ASMR video right into your ear? Will that moisten
Uh,
it?
that will not make it any better for me. That will in fact make it much worse.
Okay.
So, here's the issue. Apparently, our well's motor is completely burnt out. And it's burnt out because we have a 0.5 horsepower well, or a 0.5 horsepower pump, and we are roughly 25 to 30 feet above the well. So it is struggling a lot to try to actually push all of that water up where it needs to go.
So your well needs more horsepower.
Yes, it does.
And what's that going to set you back? How many subathons are we talking?
So a 0.5 horsepower of the exact same brand that I have is $250 minus labor, or plus labor, because the actual pump itself is that. Labor, probably go ahead and times that by 2 or 3 usually. Because we're going to try to get a 1 horsepower instead, I actually don't know how much more that one is. I'm expecting $400 to $500 in labor, because that's usually what something like this runs when it's a whole new fucking thing. And then the however much the well is going to be. While we're here, I'm probably, once I can get my fucking YouTube thing to work, because this whole time I've been trying to fix it, so I'm barely here mentally. There we go. That, I don't know why that was as broken as it fucking was. That's the stupidest thing in the world. Anyway.
So I feel like I made a good decision today
Okay.
because I had the opportunity to make you shit your pants, and I decided not to.
Right.
I feel like you're under enough
Explain.
stress. No, I just as I logged in to upload the clips from the stream, I noticed that I have notifications that somebody's copying all my shit, and so I could have like claimed all the revenue from all your videos.
Oh my god.
Then I'm like, oh, should I? Because I know he's gonna eat. Like he'll just appeal it, and I'll be like, yeah, of course I'm lifting my claim here, whatever. But I the voices in my head were like, do it, do it, do it, and I was like, no.
It would have been really funny. It would have been.
Eventually, at first, it would have been very stressful when you see the notification that like, hey, half my channel just got claimed.
Yeah, that's fair. Man, why in the world? So on the vertical version of this, I am struggling to actually get my fucking TV screen to turn to go where it's supposed to be so that I can see it. Something about moving the zoom thing into the TV screen made it change its aspect ratio. So now it's completely moved. I wonder if there's a center thing I can force on OBS, or is it always dragging?
I
I have no idea.
couldn't tell you.
Because every single time I try clicking me, hold on, there we go. I see that's one issue. Is Zoom is, man, I'm gonna have a fucking panic attack just trying to get this shit to work. Because this should be the easiest thing on the fucking planet to get working, and it's not. And I just want to take a shower.
I'm sorry that I'm getting in the way of your hygiene.
Oh, you're not. It's not you. I can't take a shower. I can't. I can't do that in my own home right now.
No water. I mean, you could always just go for the good old fashioned get a winch and a bucket.
I can go to fucking Planet Fitness if I really need to. But yeah.
Anyway,
Just
Duct Tape Jake resubscribed a little while ago, so thank you, Duct Tape Jake. Okay. I'm going to start the news. You let me know when you have everything sorted on your end, because there's one news article that I want to do differently, and I need your full attention for that.
I'm gonna do my best. Real quick, hold on. Anybody in chat, anybody who's used OBS ever in their life, is there a way to move a source without fucking clicking it? Because if there is, then I'm golden. If there's not, then I'm angry. That's where I'm at right now.
Can you right click it in the... Yeah, you can
Why
right click it in the
Audacity
sources
open up?
thing, and then go to edit transform, and then you can type in numbers.
Why the fuck did Audacity just open up? I did not click you. What the balls?
Because you were using Windows search and you typed in something like audition.
I was using fucking Chrome search. Anyway, what did you say?
I said if you, it's probably not helpful, but if you right click it in the sources menu in the bottom, and then go to transform, you can go to edit transform and type in numbers manually.
Transform, edit transform. Okay, position. X is the horizontal axis, right?
I think so, but don't rely on me to actually know that.
Well, maybe this will work.
Sean Helfin says
Who
you should
knows?
move to the waterfall that's next to my house.
It's
not right next to my house. I am only like... I'm within walking distance of the river.
Why is it not... Okay, so I've already told it to move 200 pixels, and I don't see the fucking TV screen asset. I'm so close to just cloning it over again because this is agitating. But then I'd have to reset all of my fucking hotkeys for that, and I have them linked between vertical and not vertical. Nope, I know what I'm going to do.
Duct Tape Jake is asking if I'm upstream or downstream of the falls. I believe I am upstream. Upstream is the one where like the water flows from where I am towards the falls, I think. That is how those words make sense in my head, but I know that the way things make sense to me aren't necessarily universal. So, the Horseshoe Falls. Yes, Niagara Falls. There's the Horseshoe Falls, there's the American Falls, and it's funny because technically there's three. There's a Bridal Veil Falls, like in between the American Falls and Goat Island, but it's just like a little tiny gap in the American Falls. And when I was in hospitality, a number of people would like show up at the restaurant and be like, "Where's the third waterfall?" And be like, "Yeah, no, it's not really a third waterfall. There's just a gap in that one there." And they decided to give that one a different name. But yeah,
I give up. I'm not dealing with this anymore.
no more.
I'm just
no more vertical YouTube.
I watched I watched the concurrent viewers on YouTube go from 16 to 3 as I've been trying to get this thing fixed. And I just
at that point, like, nah, fuck off.
I can't have working water. I can't have a clean house because, of course, without the water, I can't fucking mop it. I can't have my technology working. I can't have anything. Nothing gets to
You know
work.
what? I have the opposite problem of you.
Uh-huh.
See, on the weekend, one of my kids left the backyard hose on, and nobody noticed it for several days, until there was suddenly a bunch of water in the basement.
Oh, Jesus. Do you have a sump pump?
No, we do not. There is a drain in the basement floor.
That works to a degree. Sylvie, also, thank you for gifting lots of subs to people. I have not been able to keep track of it as everything's been breaking.
Everything is broken. Yeah, no. So we sat down and we had a family meeting with all the kids, and we went over, like, we didn't go over our specific finances, but like we went over, like, this is the average Canadian household sort of thing, and here's some average expenses. And it's like, if you guys leave the water running, this one gets a lot bigger. And then you see how the one down here for doing fun stuff gets smaller when that one gets bigger? You like doing fun stuff, right? Please turn off the water. Also, you'll notice down here is emergencies. But if I have to pay more for the water bill because you left the water bill on, and that causes an emergency, but now there's no money for emergencies, oh well, guess you got black mold in your house now. No, we weren't like laying the blame or anything. We just want them to understand what is going on.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah. So, can I do the one that I need you to pay attention for?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely. That's I love that commitment there.
Why not?
Okay. Well, I'm going to do this one a little differently. So normally I don't read the whole article out. This one, I think I'm just going to read the article to you, and you react to it however you like.
Okay, so I get to be the standard React YouTuber. Chat. Wow, chat. Wow.
Not. Hopefully less vapid.
I get to be XQC today. I'm so happy. I'm so thrilled. I can't wait to start my right-wing grifting arc like Debuscus.
I don't know who Debuscus is, and I feel like I'm happy about that fact.
One of the
Do not
oldest...
inform me. I do not wish to know. Last time we had a conversation like this, I ended up learning who Asmongold was. So fuck you.
How did you not know, given what you cover?
What, Asmongold?
Yes.
I don't know. I just never came across him before you told me who he was.
That's fair enough. Now you know who Asmongold is.
Yeah, and I wish I didn't, because he is disgusting.
Lack of showers.
And brushing teeth.
Mist in the YouTube chat says, what's your opinion on Mall Shadow Lord so far? Have not watched it. Saki and I were catching up on Ganosia and Invincible.
I just started watching Walking Dead, and the other day I got to the episode where Rick is like, hey, the CDC was working on a cure for this, so, like, if anything's going to still be around, it's going to be the CDC, because the government would definitely have protected it with all its possible resources, because it's the most important thing. And I'm just sitting there like,
Not anymore.
No, the Trump government would have invited the walkers into the State of the Union address to prove that the virus isn't harmful.
Yep, given that one, the CDC scenario didn't happen in the comics. That was something that was made for the TV show. And two, we have so much more context for how fucked our government situation with the CDC is now.
I'm also fairly certain that the CDC buildings don't have like an emergency blow the building up if we lose power failsafe. That feels like something that would not exist.
CJ Sonic says, "Did you like my sword? Guy is a right-wing grifter. Damn, wasn't that Tobuscus? Yeah, do you like my sword is Tobuscus."
Oh, and I did watch the ducks having sex, the sex with ducks video after last week's stream, and it was charming. I enjoyed it. I will not be playing it on stream because of copyright stuff, but it was charming. Anyway, let's actually do this article thing, shall we?
Absolutely. Where are we at?
We are talking about the lonely world of MAGA gay men.
Oh, I saw this article. I haven't read it yet, but I know about it. So where are we at?
You will have it read to you. When Evan decided it was time to tell his boyfriend that he voted for Trump, he couldn't get the words out. I was stuttering for 20 minutes straight on the phone, he told Uncloseted Media and Gay Times. More like 20 minutes gay, am I right?
God fucking damn it. More like, don't you mean more like 20 minutes in heaven? No, if it's in the closet, you know.
Oh, yeah, okay. Once he finally worked up the courage, he was met with pushback. He made fun of me. He called me a racist and a white supremacist, says Evan.
Yeah, because you voted for the guy who is those things. I'm sorry.
Yes, he's a 21-year-old math major who lives in Long Island, New York. That pushback isn't unusual. According to a 2023 Pew Research Center survey, 83% of queer men typically vote Democrat. One key reason gay men swing left in 2026 is because of the Trump administration and MAGA-aligned politicians' track record on LGBTQ issues. You'll think?
So, have you seen... Because this is something I'm going to be covering in an episode... Or I already covered it. Sorry, I'm dumb. I covered this yesterday. Have you seen Matt Walsh's homophobic crash out on fucking Twitter?
I have not.
So, okay. So there's a bunch of gay MAGA, obviously. Like, we know that they exist. This is what the log cabin Republicans are. That's the actual Texas unit of gay Republicans that tried to be MAGA, but you know, it ain't working so well for them anymore. So that contingent started trying to put the screws to Matt Walsh on Twitter, saying, because Matt Walsh was trying to say that I'm against surrogacy, and they started to put the screws on him, saying, well, hold on, you're against surrogacy, so you don't want gay people to have the ability to raise kids. And he goes, no, absolutely not. Okay, so you're against surrogacy, you're against gay people raising kids, you're against gay marriage too, right? Yep, absolutely. And you're against people having marriage out of wedlock, right? Absolutely. So you want every gay man to be celibate forever?
Wedlock, but having marriage out of wedlock is intensely funny
sex out of wedlock. And that was like, absolutely. And they go, okay, cool. So you want every gay person to be celibate forever? And he just went, yes. That's what I want. Mm-hmm. I want the world where none of them get to know love, basically. And I'm just like, oh. And you guys are just now realizing that he's a miserable sack of shit that doesn't want what's best for all of you? Mm-hmm, you just now learned this? None of you have been paying attention. Every one of you is stupid. All of them.
So with apologies, I know you guys are probably going to start hearing cars drive past, because I don't know why my furnace is on right now. The temperature is set to 17 degrees, and it's currently reading 21 degrees, so there's no reason it should be trying to heat anything up. But it's really hot in here, so I just opened my window. Continuing on. Since the start of Trump's second term, his administration has terminated more than $1 billion worth of grants to HIV-related research, removed the pride flag from the Stonewall National Monument, and shut down the LGBTQ-specific option on the 988 Youth Suicide Hotline, because they're just fucking
notice
evil.
How I'm not surprised about even a single fucking one of these things.
No, I'm pretty sure we covered at least two of those things.
I remember in 2016, the gays for Trump, and I remember being confused about it then. And that was when I was just coming out of a more right-wing conservative shell, and I was confused then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, when I was right wing, I definitely would have been confused about gay people agreeing with me because I'm like, my whole like one of my positions is that you guys aren't allowed to get married. Why would you want to align yourself with me?
Milo Indianapolis starting a conversion therapy camp
Yeah.
slowly enters the chat.
Yeah. So, because of this, many of the fewer than 1 in 5 LGBTQ men who cast their ballots for Trump in 2024 face judgment for their political affiliation.
Good.
Nick Duncan, 43, can relate to Evan's fears about being an open Trump supporter. I mostly get hatred. I've never lost a conservative friend because I'm gay, but I've lost all of my gay friends because I'm conservative. Says.
Right. So the reason for that, my good bitch, is because the conservative friends have nothing to lose for you being gay. They don't stand to have any aspect of their life fundamentally changed. However, when you vote for the person that wants to rip their rights away, their lives are fundamentally changed by that choice. Do you see how this works here? One person, the fucking wind doesn't blow a different way one way or the other for them based on your choice, but for the other choice, it actually does change the way the wind blows. You see the significance of that, you fucking moron?
No, he doesn't.
Anyway.
He doesn't. So he's a hospitality executive who lives in Miami. I've divorced myself from what I refer to as the alphabet mafia. I love how he's saying that as though he's the one that came up with that term.
I've divorced myself from the alphabet mafia. No, you haven't. You're still gay.
He's divorced himself from what he calls the alphabet mafia.
You think that term means a particular contingent of the LGBTQ community, but I promise you, when you dig in and actually use the Socratic method and try to figure out what a Republican means by that term, you will eventually get to the point where it just becomes, that's my view of gay people.
I would just like to point out that both of my chats are just completely filled with people talking about leopards and faces. I wonder why that could be.
Yeah, it's the most common phrase in this scenario for a reason.
I mean, the leopards ate my face Blue Sky account is where I first heard of this article, so it tracks. Despite these concerns, Duncan doesn't hide his political views when looking for love. I'm in a long-term relationship now, and when I have been on the dating market, I'm very open and upfront about who's gifting subs while I'm in the
I'm very happy that he's open and upfront about the fact that he's a self-destructive moron, but like anybody who wanted to find that person could just date an alcoholic.
Oh, Conton83 gifted 8 tier 1 subs, so we're going to have a bunch of oohs happening while I am
also, Sylvie, thank you so much for gifting a sub.
Thank you for that, Conton. I appreciate it. And that's sort of a hype train. So everybody keep interrupting me to keep the hype train going or something, I guess. I'm a good streamer. I'm in a long-term relationship now, and when I've been on the dating market, I'm very open and upfront about my political views. So I think it just weeds out most people who would have an issue. I mean,
again, you can date other not very stable alcoholics, but it doesn't mean that your dating pool is getting any better.
I mean, to be fair, I also posted, like, when I was in the dating market and using Tinder, I got sick and tired of like matching with people and then being ghosted as soon as they found out that like I am okay with vaccines, or I don't think gay people should be treated as second-class citizens, or trans people exist, and they ghost me. So eventually, like as I kept on matching with people and then having them ghost me over these stupid things, like my profile got longer and longer with all of the things that was like, okay, well, that person ghosted me because of this, so I'm going to put that in my profile. This person ghosted me because of that, so I'm going to... So I get it. And then I matched with my partner now, who was like, ooh, those are all the green flags.
Like, the thing is, it's fine as a matter of practice to be open and honest about who you are with the people that you are trying to date. That's just a good sign. That's a good thing to do. Not hide. It's good to be dating and not be hiding your power level. That's fine. However, much like with being open and honest about any shortcoming one might have, being open and honest about I'm a self-destructive alcoholic or a self-destructive drug abuser, that does not make it any better. I'm glad you were honest, but it doesn't mean that you've improved the situation for either of us here in any meaningful way. I know that you have self-destructive habits, like voting for somebody who wants to strip your rights away. That sounds nightmarishly dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at least glad you were open about how dumb you are.
Yep. For Evan, political differences have been a source of tension in his relationship even before he told his boyfriend who he voted for. When I first met him, he asked me if I liked Trump. He was kind of scaring me, so I said, I don't know, Evan recalls. He said, good answer, because if you said yes, I couldn't even talk to you. Yeah.
That should have told you not to be with him in the first place, shouldn't it?
Probably.
Like, that's the moment where you realize y'all were incompatible.
It's like, yeah, we have this irreconcilable difference, so maybe I shouldn't even try to make this work.
Like, it's okay to recognize that. That's fine. That's healthy. That you two have a thing that you cannot... There's a circle y'all can't square. And you know what? That's fine. That's called being human. It is the most human thing you can discover.
Since revealing his conservative identity, Evan has had multiple arguments with his boyfriend about politics. This guy who I've been dating for almost a year, he's way too far left. The first proof is he thinks there's more than two genders, says Evan. I tried telling him there were only two genders, and he got mad at me.
You didn't figure any of that out earlier in the relationship? How? How did you not figure any of that out? What?
New hat time. Thank you, Content83.
Lenari says the boyfriend didn't up and leave, baby, run. So
yeah, I'm confused about that as well.
I will say this. I can respect anybody that sees the shortcomings of a person and also sees their potential and wants to stick around and try to help them grow as a person. I don't think that that is a bad thing. Just like how none of us owe being part of anybody's healing journey. None of us owe that to anybody. Likewise, it's okay for somebody to want to be there during part of somebody's healing journey. That's equally valid. However, you have to recognize that that is what you're doing. You have to be able to recognize that you are, in fact, there dealing with a person who has a self-destructive habit.
I'm just like, how good is the sex that you're willing to tolerate this bullshit at this point? Like, a year into a relationship that is still short enough that it's like, okay, your lives probably aren't completely intertwined at this point. Get out while it's still easy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the article starts to get snarky. It says, though Evan believes there are only two genders, research suggests that gender is a spectrum allowing for multiple gender identities. According to a 2025 report from Pew Research Center, 71% of LGBTQ adults view the Republican Party as unfriendly towards LGBTQ Americans. I'm surprised that that is so low.
I think...
How are 30% of LGBTQ adults like, yeah, no, the Republican Party is totally friendly to us?
I think it's more that it's the apolitical people who go, well, I don't know and I don't want to know. That would be my guess.
The people who consider themselves enlightened centrists like Joe Rogan.
The people who, when you say the word Tobuscus, say they don't want to know who it is. Yeah, those people.
Dark Falcon says, man, learning about how many genders mushrooms have must render these types of conservatives catatonic. Sexes. Strictly speaking, mating types rather than sexes. But sex and gender are very different. Mushrooms do not have the capacity to have gender identities.
No, because as far as we know, they do not have any social scale. Not the way that we understand it.
Yeah. Duncan thinks these critiques are unreasonable. The Republican Party is not nearly as anti-gay as leftists believe, he says. The Trump administration has plenty of openly gay people in the administration, and Trump actually supported gay marriage. Yeah, they've got plenty of black
friends, and whatever.
And Trump actually supported gay marriage before it was cool.
Right, and then he joined the party that actively is against it.
You want to hear Trump's statement that actually is supporting of gay marriage?
Sure, why not?
So it's in the article, so let's just keep reading. Gay members of the Trump administration include Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, as well as Tony Fabrizio, a pollster and strategist. Additionally, Trump did tell The Advocate in a 2000 interview that though the institution of marriage should be between a man and a woman, it's very gay supporting right there.
Okay, so it wasn't actually...
He thinks amending the Civil Rights Act to grant the same protection to gay people that we give to other Americans is only fair. So I believe that marriage should only be between a man and a woman, but we should amend the Civil Rights Act to give gay people the same rights as it. Like that's not really support of gay marriage.
Yeah, that's not support. That's the I disagree with your ideology, but I want to share the room with you type of stuff, which, like,
Yeah.
again, has its place. It is a valid way to operate if you want to have less friction, but it's the kind of thing that only creates a negative piece. Like, congratulations, you are on the side of people who at best can only have a negative piece with you. That's not healthy. That's double plus unhealthy.
Yeah. But since then, Trump has appointed Supreme Court justices who have denounced marriage equality and cabinet members with anti-LGBTQ track records, including Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, and Pam Bondi. Duncan says part of the reason he isn't worried about Trump's anti-LGBTQ track record is because he doesn't view being gay as the most important part of his identity. The most important part of who I am is as a father.
Right, but they want you to lose the ability to be that.
Yeah.
They want to take away your... They view it as... To quote fucking Matt Walsh, they view gay parents having a kid as a form of human trafficking.
I mean, given this guy's age, it is entirely possible that this is a kid that he had while he was in the closet and got married to a woman in his younger years before divorcing and living the gay life. So that is a possible scenario here. It doesn't actually tell us where the child came from.
The gay life of Zach and Cody.
There you go. But yeah, the most important part of who he is as a father, and he's voting for the people that want him to not have that ability.
Yeah, your most important aspect of yourself is a thing that Matt Walsh says you should not do because it makes you an abomination. And you don't see any problems here. I feel as though somebody in this conversation has not thought through their ideology or their allies or much of anything.
Yeah, so Duncan is not alone. A 2020 report from the UCLA Williams Institute School of Law found that Republican lesbian, gay, and bisexual people are more likely to feel connected to other parts of their identities than their sexual orientations. Problem is, the other parts of your identities are permeated by your sexual orientation.
And, like, again, it's not that you have to make it a huge part of who you are. It's okay to not make it a huge part of who you are. Whatever. I don't care. I can't tell you what to do. But I can say that the type of person that says those words is often the type of person who is saying that as a form of cope because they feel like they've had to change the way they operate about themselves.
Oh, speaking of enlightened centrist Joe Rogan, Evan's desire to be seen as normal rings of Vice President J.D. Vance's 2024 comments on Joe Rogan's podcast, where he said Trump could win the normal gay vote. During the same interview, Vance suggested that parents of genderqueer children use their children's identities as a rejection of having white privilege. Vance received significant backlash for these comments, with Human Rights Campaign responding to the vice president's remarks over X, Twitter.
The artist formerly known as Twitter.
Not even that, but parents of genderqueer children use their children's identities as a rejection of having white privilege. What does that even mean? Is that I have white privilege, so I'm going to make my kids be genderqueer so that I can be part of the victimized group?
It's either that or them trying or them saying, hey, as a person who believes in the concept of white privilege, you believe that more power should be handed to a minority group, so you claim a fake minority group in order to gain that status. That's how I interpret that.
I mean, either way, it's kind of bullshit. I have genderqueer kids. I did not push them into it. I just let them be themselves, and they fell into it. Because that's who they are.
Did Timmy fall into the queer lassie?
He did. My middle child, the way they came out to me as non-binary was just so quintessentially them.
Non-binary.
Jessa says the quell.
The quell.
Yeah, so the way my middle child came out to me was they went to a group session thing, and everybody had name tags, and on the name tags was a spot for pronouns, and they wrote they them in the pronoun thing. Like this was like parents drop them off and then leave sort of thing. So like I dropped them off and I left, and then I got back to pick them up, and they were just wearing the name tag with they them pronouns on it, and they were just kind of like walking in a way to like make it obvious for me to see it, but they weren't saying anything about it. I'm just
Dad,
like, okay,
Dad,
that
look,
is.
look.
It's like, okay, so they want me to know this thing, but they don't want to tell me this thing. Okay, I got it.
I mean, when you're learning how to socialize, you find ways to do it. You find a way that feels safe. Whatever way you feel safe coming out of the closet is a perfectly valid way to do it, unless it involves a gun.
Well, I mean, if it involves a gun and the closet you were in happened to be like in a certain person's bedroom that I'm not going to name because I don't want the stream to get taken down for threats of violence or whatever.
I mean, you could always come out with a cult to just say, I'm here, I'm queer, and you look like a deer. Like, at that point, yeah, it's probably not a valid way to do it, because I'm assuming somebody's getting shot, but...
Depending on who it is, I still consider it valid.
Be careful. There's that girl that got arrested recently for saying Netanyahu bombed my school in a group chat.
I should have been arrested.
Yeah?
So, tangent from the article. Remember how last week I was like, I think I want to pay this company to talk to AI Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
I paid that company to talk to AI Jesus. And the way the conversation went, like, it never actually came out and endorsed violence, but it came... There was definitely a moment where there was an implication of, like, as long as I have the zeal of God in my heart, it's okay. And the way I got it there, though, was, like, the questions I was asking was such that, like, if this company actually has any sort of safety things in place, they should have called the police on me.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, 100%.
But it's an AI company.
It sounded like I was about to go and shoot up a church.
Like, it's an AI company. They're not going to set things up to protect anything because they don't have morals.
As soon as I went down that line of questioning, though, I'm like, oh shit, what if this is the one AI company that actually reports shit like this to the cops?
Nah.
But
you're always safe.
I'm still here. It's been several days now, so.
So you're sitting there going, I'm still standing.
Yeah. And I mean,
as long
as I get the video done and published, that can be my defense in court. See, I was just doing it for content.
Thrag says, why does the quality of the articles look blurry? So it's just what Zoom does.
It's Circe's fault.
We have no control over it.
Zoom has an automatic AI enhance feature that actually makes things harder to read because it's trying to guess what the words are instead of just letting it show.
Can we turn it off? Is
Nope.
that a thing I can do?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because I'm not gonna lie, this is the most hilarious thing for me to see. I'm sending this to you on Discord because it's funny as fuck. Look at that text.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks fake.
It's still readable mostly.
Yeah, mostly, but it's like the platonic non-ideal of readable text.
Scott Delahunt says, "Zoom and enhance." Anyway, where was I? Okay, back to the article. For Chris Doan, 56, voting Republican is the only choice that makes sense, as he believes voting for a Democrat goes directly against his interests as a queer man.
What?
Oh, we'll get
How?
there. We'll get there. This takes a turn, Cyrus. This takes a turn.
I don't want anybody to take turns here anymore. I don't think anybody in this story fucking deserves it.
He says, conservatives don't want to murder gays. They want them saved, he says. Muslims vote Democrat because if the Democrats win, they get to stay in the United States, they get to take power, and they will murder gays brutally with a smile on their face, says Doan.
That's what they think is gonna...
That's why he votes Republican.
He votes Republican because he hates brown people because he thinks brown people want to throw him off of a fucking building.
He votes for the party whose morals are most in alignment with Sharia law in order to avoid the Muslims taking over and implementing Sharia law. And yes, I know the word Sharia means law, so technically I'm saying law when I say that. Fuck you, I don't care, pedant.
ATM machine.
Yeah. Doan's comments are... Okay, and the article claps back. Doan's comments are unfounded and display racist stereotypes peddled by far-right American media. One study from the Brennan Center for Justice compiled data from 1984 to 2020 and found that racial resentment is more prevalent on the right than on the left. Shocker.
And this is where somebody goes, but you don't understand. I'm not being racist. I'm being against a religion. That's different. Well, hold on. When you think of a Muslim, what picture comes in your brain? And I promise you, it is not a white person.
Not a white person. Lots of white Muslims, though.
Mm-hmm.
Though Doan and other gay Republicans hold a range of views, a common thread is a hesitancy around trans rights. Of course it is. So they align more with the Trump administration, which has railed against the trans community with Trump's policies and rhetoric. For example, Doan sees being able to transition as a matter of personal freedom, but thinks gender-affirming care for trans kids is a step too far.
Right, but does he know what gender-affirming care for trans kids looks like?
He absolutely does not.
Because anytime somebody says that, their problem is with surgeries happening to minors. And now, I will grant this tiny pebble. There are some instances of people getting top surgery as young as 15.
Yeah, and most of them are cis boys.
Yeah, like
98% of them.
It's a thing that technically, by the strictest definition of the word, happens, TM. But
actually, I would actually, I don't know what the numbers are on this, but I would suggest that the most common gender affirming surgery that's performed on minors is circumcision.
Well, that's fucking cheating. But yes,
it is cheating. Is it not gender affirming cosmetic surgery?
It is cosmetic surgery that is primarily done to people with, or that can only be done to people with penises, but that's like, I view it more as a form of mutilation.
Yeah, so do I.
So I don't think that I don't think those words work.
There are very few medical reasons to do it, so it is entirely cosmetic. Almost entirely. There are like very, very rare conditions for which the treatment is a circumcision.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's not the kind of circumcision I'm arguing against here.
Usually it has to do with issues of like bacterial infections.
And you know what's crazy though is anytime I've had these conversations where like people bring up the legitimate medical reasons to get circumcised, for some reason the same people that don't understand that gender affirming care is this very nuanced thing and
suddenly get into like, the nuances of
suddenly nuance matters and like, oh yeah, no, I know like 99% of circumcisions are completely unnecessary, but here in this 1% of cases, that's like these are necessary, so we need to tolerate the 99% for the sake of the 1%. Like, no, you just do the ones that are necessary and don't do the other ones.
Yeah, the thing is, if you want a world where we are more responsible with how we approach gender-affirming care with minors, and we can both be on the side, not you and me, obviously, but me and insert Republican here, we can both be on the side of we want this to be done responsibly, and sometimes the responsible thing is to not do it at all. But for us to find out which situations we should do it in, we need to be able to do it so we can do studies on it, you fucking knobs.
Mm-hmm.
This is like everybody who has like a really, really strong opinion about weed. But then when you look at all of the studies we've been able to do on weed, we don't have, or classically, we hadn't had a lot of them because it was illegal everywhere in the United States. So who the fuck are you gonna survey?
When it comes to transgender, I have nothing against that. I just believe that when you make that transition, it should be at a point where your brain is fully developed and you're actually going to enjoy that transition, he says.
Right. That flies in the face of the research that we've done in like when it comes to
if you want
gender-affirming care.
If you want people to enjoy the transition, you got to do it before puberty. I mean, not saying that if it happens after puberty, you're not going to enjoy it, but like...
Your chances get infinitely higher if you don't have to go through the puberty that you do not want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just how that's what the puberty blockers are for. That's what their job is.
And now
puberty blockers buy you 5 years.
Now we get into the stay out of my pants section of the article. He
Wait,
also
what?
holds the view. He also holds the view that for a trans person to be accepted as their correct gender, they must fully physically transition. If you're gonna and I love this. He uses transgender as a verb here. If you're gonna transgender all the way. If you've still got male parts on you, you don't belong in the women's dress room.
So you realize that the thing that causes rape is not the penis, right? The penis does not cause the rape. The person causes the rape. It's so weird that the party that doesn't understand, or that tries to make me understand that it's the person that does the gun violence, not the gun, can't seem to understand that it's the person that does the rape, not the fact that there is a penis there.
Yeah, but if you look at that party and what all the people with penises in that party end up getting accused of, there's a correlation here, is all I'm saying.
I understand.
And then the article claps back again and says, however, research suggests otherwise, with a 2025 study indicating that policing bathroom access can lead to mental distress in trans youth. Also, sexual assault. Like, the people that are by far more likely to be sexually assaulted in bathrooms are trans people.
Also, in my chat, I see Thrag said, never agreed with the trans kids thing. It's just not natural. Thrag, can you do me a favor, please? And everybody in my chat, shut the fuck up. If you're going to start trying to go off on people, that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't change anybody's opinion. It doesn't help you. It only raises your blood pressure. I'm not talking to anybody specific, but I might be talking to Jessica Davis. So, I'm going to ask, real quick, Frag, when you think of the term gender-affirming care for kids, or the trans kids thing, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, define what that is for me. That would be a very helpful thing for you to do. We'll continue the show as normal while you do that, but when you say I don't agree with a thing, you first have to understand what that thing is. I am giving you the opportunity to explain what your understanding of the thing is.
And I have a trans child, so you get to argue with someone who's actually in the system for it.
Correct.
Duncan has his own doubts. I disagree with the integration of gender ideology and radical wokeism into the LGBT community. You are free. What do you think the T stands for?
What do you think woke means, you dipshit?
You are free to live under any delusion you so desire. You're not free to require me to live under your delusion as well, he says. But if somebody wants to live as a man or a woman, however it is, I firmly believe they have the right to do that. I would never get in the way of it. Except by voting for the people who want to outlaw it.
It's like, I would never get in the way of it, but you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. You actively tried to vote for the person who wants to make sure that this is not a thing people can do. You won't get in the way of it, but you will hire somebody to get in the way of it. Let me ask you, if I hire a hitman to kill a person, am I still responsible for that person's death? And I would argue, yes, the fuck I am. Mm-hmm. If you willingly and knowingly vote for a person who made it part of their goal, which group of people they are going to oppress, you hold a part and parcel responsibility for that oppression.
Did we get a definition of gender affirming care from the guy in your chat?
Not yet.
Okay. Duncan also believes that education about LGBTQ people should be limited in schools. He sees adolescence as a fundamentally confusing time and believes that it's confusing, so the gay kids need to know what's going on with them. And believes that an education about LGBTQ communities would add on layers of confusion.
What? How does getting educated on that? You know what? I get it. I get it. They're really fucking stupid, and I don't have the crayons nor the slurs to explain how stupid they are to them. So, I understand why they think an education would be confusing. It all makes sense.
Yeah, so just for context, this morning I overheard my partner explaining the various aspects of LGBT stuff to the kid, like lesbian, gay, and bisexual is basically what she was explaining. And it's essentially like at the age they're at, it's just like, if a boy likes to date boys, the word for that is gay. If a girl likes to date girls, the word for that is lesbian. If you date boys and girls, it's bisexual. And then she was like, and Papa, he doesn't care about gender identity, so he's pansexual. So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
if the gender identity of the person is in fact a factor for you, for good or worse, then we can use the word bi. If the gender identity is a non-factor for you, we use the word pan. There's a lot of crossover between the two, but the
Yeah.
distinction is in how you make the decision.
Yeah, and like obviously her kids are young enough that we're like she also talked a little bit about ace people. She did not get into the weeds about like there are ace people who are still romantic aces, so they like doing all the romance stuff but keep the sex stuff away from it.
I mean, has she had the talk with the kid for that part of the conversation? Or
No,
no?
the kids are too young for that sort of thing.
Then that makes sense that they didn't get what aces explained to them, because you have to have the talk for that.
Yeah, the way she explained it to them was basically like there are some people that, they might like to date people, but they're not interested in all the stuff like kissing and holding hands and whatever.
I see.
So like, yeah, that is very oversimplified and not entirely correct. But like that's something that can be clarified later when they're old enough to have the sex talk.
It's the sun is a ball of fire versus a ball of plasma conversation.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And Matt Powell still thinks it's a ball of fire.
It's because Matt Powell's an idiot.
That he is. Okay. Back to this. Where are we?
I feel really mean today. Is this what happens when I can't shower?
Maybe.
I probably.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't shower, and then we're reading an article that is like they are countering the bad points that they're making, but ultimately this does seem to be trying to get people to be a bit more sympathetic to the Republican gays.
I mean,
And it's just like I don't have sympathy for them.
I wouldn't use the word sympathy, but I mean, I could use the word pity. I think
Yeah,
pity works.
pity. I could see pity.
I think pity works. Like I feel bad that you lack the faculties to make good decisions. That is a bad thing, and it will hinder you in many parts of your life, and I wish I could improve that for you. But I lack the education to rehabilitate you.
Thank you for the hydrate, Nova Winter. It's okay to tell kids that some boys like boys, some girls like girls, and some people like both, but it just needs to be kept vague and general, Duncan says. However you are is okay. We don't need to expose children to gay media, because if you're gay, you're going to know. Counterpoint.
What is the...
Hi!
There's plenty of people who don't figure that stuff out until way later because they got suppressed.
I was,
actually.
38, 39, something like that? Yeah, I think 38.
And we have all kinds of research on this. It again, I'm really sorry. I am so sorry that you are terminally uneducated, and it is terminal. I cannot help you. You will need a professional with far more expertise than me.
Mm-hmm. Duncan does not believe heteronormative bias in mainstream media is a problem, though a study published in Equity and Excellence in Education found heteronormative biases in schools may harm queer students. Duh.
That's so weird that professionals disagree with Republicans. That's so weird.
Is it though?
that
seems par for the course.
Man, sarcasm is cool. I love sarcasm, don't you?
Yeah. The vast majority of people are heterosexual, and a functioning society is built on a heteronormative bias, he says. It is important.
You have a child. Shut the fuck up, you dumbass.
It is important to understand that we are the extreme minority, and society is not responsible for conforming to us.
Counterpoint, when we are building society, we should build that society not to accommodate the most of us, but to accommodate the least of us. Because when we build it to accommodate the least of us, by that very nature, it accommodates everybody. When you install an elevator in an area so that people in wheelchairs can navigate that area better, inadvertently, you installed a fucking elevator and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Weird.
You put a ramp outside the person in the wheel. You put it there specifically for the person in the wheelchair, and now people with luggage and people with strollers and people with all sorts of wheeled things
when you
can
put
make use
subtitles on your movie, you inadvertently help people who are completely neurotypical and do not have blindness or deafness or any other thing that could cause them issues, but they do struggle when the audio mixing of a movie is not very great. They struggle to parse out the things that are being said in the movie. You inadvertently end up helping that person just as much. Weird.
So
strange.
I'm the weird ADHD person that I do not like subtitles, but that's because I get so caught up in reading the subtitles that I'm not looking at the movie. So like I miss a lot of the visual stuff going on in the movies if the subtitles are on.
Man, that is a level of weakness that I cannot claim to have because Shin Godzilla was a fantastic film and it's only subbed.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not defending my position. I'm just like, this is why I don't use subtitles.
That's completely understandable. If you and I are watching a movie, I will have subtitles on.
And I won't complain about it, but don't expect me to have picked up on everything visual in the movie.
Wild. Okay. No, you got the plot then.
Duncan does not believe... no, we already read that paragraph. While LGBTQ Americans see the Republican Party as unfriendly towards queer people, Duncan and Doan aren't worried about being stripped of their rights. Duncan says the 2015 passage of gay marriage solidified his equal rights. We have marriage as gay men. I have every right that a straight man does, he says. For now.
Also...
Like that is a thing that is being actively targeted by the Republicans right now?
Also, real quick... Can we parse out that specific sentence? Because I take umbrage with that sentence. Because if anybody here is familiar with the concept of a rich man and a poor man are both not allowed to sleep under a bridge, but only one of these people is affected by it. If you say the phrase, I have all of the same rights as a straight man. Okay, I can agree with that. If you are willing to accept that that phrase means you have the right to marry a woman. That means you have the exact same right. You're correct. But what's that you say? The woman is not the person you want to marry for gay reasons? Boy, that is unfortunate. Can't help you there, sport. You have all the rights of... We got you equal rights. You have all the rights of the straight man. You can marry the opposite sex and gender, just like the straight man, but not a hair further. You don't get extra rights, sir.
Doan also feels that his rights are secure under Trump 2.0 and approves of the president so far. I voted for that great, big, beautiful wall because we were being overrun by illegals, he says. Doan also approves of the U.S. interventions in Iran and Venezuela, though he criticizes Trump for leaving Venezuela way too soon.
So he doesn't like it when a foreign force invades your country and imposes its will on the country, and you believe that that is what's happening to our country, but you are okay with United States imperialism, which by its very definition is a country invading another country and imposing its will on that country. Man, this is a fundamentally broken person.
Yeah, seems that way. Similarly, Duncan is generally approving of Trump's handling of immigration. I don't love what we're doing as far as deportations, but we had to get some control over the illegal population, says Duncan. I wish there was another way, but I can't think of it.
I wish there was another way besides the camps for the Japanese people, but my God, they were all spies. Can't you see it in their eyes?
Huh. Okay.
I would have used the internment camps in Germany, but then I remembered that we fucking did that too.
So I think they've updated this article since I read it last, and my favorite quote from it is gone, but I did take a screenshot of it before. So let's oh, you can't see it. Fuck. Okay, anyway. My favorite quote from this article was, Duncan says he feels so unwelcomed by the LGBTQ community that he's hesitant to attend certain queer events. Nowadays, I would never go to a pride event, says Duncan told Uncloseted Media and Gay Times. I don't feel that I would be safe.
You would be safe. Nobody would make it unsafe for you. Nobody's gonna look at you and go, man, that guy's shirt's a little too tight. I bet he's a MAGA gay. That's not gonna fucking happen. You'll be fine. Shut the fuck up.
No, okay, that was... I wonder why it didn't get picked up in this thing. Anyway, there's another quote from Evan that I love. Evan doesn't identify with the community at large and does not like to be referred to as LGBTQ or queer. I realized I'm normal. I'm not LGBTQ, he says. I'm just gay.
You're right. You are normal, and queerness is, in fact, normal.
But, motherfucker, what does the G stand for in LGBTQ?
I don't identify as lesbian or gay. I'm just gay. Uh-huh. All right, listen here, Sir Gobblecocks. I think you need to understand. I think you need to understand how fucked your position is.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that article. That was fun.
Jesus Christ, thank you, Sylvie, for the 10 gifted subs. I appreciate it. After my very potentially homophobic statement.
Sir Gobblecocks?
Sir Gobblecocks.
I don't know why, but I feel like that would be a really good name for a pet bird.
Probably.
Like, I'm not even saying like a rooster, just like a cockatiel.
A cockatiel? What color's the cockatiel?
The one I had was white.
Ah, I see. It all makes sense now. This is erasure. Of some kind, I'm sure.
Oh, I miss my cockatiel. Now I want to get another cockatiel and name him Sir Gobblecocks. There's so much work, though. There's so much work for a bird. Oh, excuse me. Well, that's going to be the stream for the next little while.
Is the hiccups?
Yep.
Ah. Said Rag responded. Oh, sweet. Let me see here. Da 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 da. I didn't catch it when it. Oh, it's behind all of the subs. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so Thrag has defined gender affirming care, or not, or at least the trans kids thing. So, kids thinking they're the opposite gender, like a boy thinking he's a girl or thinking she's a boy, and their parents encouraging that when it could be a phase. The kid's brain is creating in their underdeveloped brain. Second disagreement with the whole. Oh, this is a run-on sentence. I see. Second disagreement with the whole transgender affirming care, giving a kids drugs that stop their brain body from naturally developing. Okay, cool. Let's start with the first one. Kids thinking they're the opposite gender. So I have a question. What was a trans adult before the age of 18? What was that person before the age of 18?
I have a question. I'm assuming this person is a man, because that just...
Probably.
Statistically, that seems like a reasonable assumption. So at what age did you first realize you were a man or a boy? Like, were you told by an adult, or did you just feel that? Because
I'm going to paste this into our chat so that I don't lose it, so that I can scroll down and see the next parts of the chat so I don't lose what was said. But again, if you've ever listened to said not going to indulge your gaslighting fantasy weirdos, okay, cool. So here's what I got from that thread. Here's what I got from it. Also, it's really funny that your name is that of a genocidal dictator who killed plenty of planets and invincible. But that said, I think it's really funny. I think it's entirely funny that when you professed your ideology and then you were pressed on your ideology by two people who have done research into how to be correct about this conversation, you have decided to say, I'm not going to indulge your gaslighting fantasy. First of all, gaslighting is a word that implies that we are trying to tell you that reality is not what you know it to be, and we are trying to make you go insane as a result of it. I don't think either of us are trying to do that. We can actually hand you the studies that back up our opinions. Likewise, you probably can't show us peer-reviewed studies that are in accredited journals that back up your opinion. The Discovery Institute doesn't count.
Neither does the rapid onset gender dysphoria study, because if you actually read the methods section of that one, it is very obviously trash. I'm not going to get into that right now.
The CAS report. We don't count the CAS report because if you take the CAS report and you put it under the scrutiny of peer review against the experts who wrote everything else in your in your set of studies, you are going to find holes upon holes upon holes in the cast report. Now, for the second disagreement, gender affirming care, giving kids a drug that stops their brain or body from naturally developing.
Can I talk to this one? Speak to this
Absolutely.
one? Because
absolutely.
I have a child that is going through this process, or will be shortly. So the drugs that you put kids on are, generally speaking, the younger kids, it would be what's called puberty blockers. Puberty blockers are reversible. Now, there has been some evidence that being on puberty blockers for a long time, like into your 20s, when starting before you're 10, that you can have decreased bone density if you've been on them for that long. There is also evidence to suggest that that's actually it's not got anything to do with the puberty blockers. It's I forget what the other thing is, but like that is the main concern with puberty blockers is decrease of bone density. Aside from that, absolutely everything it does is completely reversible. So what puberty blockers do is it takes this kid who, yes, might just be going through a phase, and it says, okay, well, let's hold off on puberty until we can figure out whether it's just a phase or whether you're actually trans. Because yes, it is normal for kids to experiment with different, like putting on different genders as just play. That is a normal thing that kids do. And so, no, we don't want to do permanent things to kids. And that includes making them go through the wrong puberty. And if the wrong puberty is the one that their body is going to do without medical intervention, then we do medical intervention to delay that until we know for sure.
Again, this is one of those situations where we are actually on the same side. If you are on the same side of trying your best not to harm children, if you are on the side of trying to make sure that we do our proper research and due diligence so that kids cannot get hurt, then we are actually on the same side. But there are particulars about the side that you disagree on, I am assuming, due to a lack of research. And because it is about children, and human beings, by our very nature, typically, get very, very worked up about kids. It is our protective nature. As a unit, we want to defend children because deep, deep in the back of our brains, we know that once we die, they carry on everything for us, so we need to keep them around. That's how our brains work. Even if you're not a father or a mother, it's usually a lot stronger if you're a father or a mother, but all of us want to protect children. We do not want them harmed. So, we should be on the same side. The side that has research behind it and does not harm children should be on that side. But we're not.
I can also tell you from personal experience, if you are concerned about parents pushing gender ideology on kids, there are people that are no longer in our lives because the youngest, who is by all appearances trans, they have said, no, we are not going to respect that. We are only going to engage with her if we can treat her as though she is a boy and make her dress in boys' clothes and use her boy's name and refer to her with he, him pronouns. So they are the people pushing gender ideology on this kid are the ones saying, no, we refuse to do anything to do with you unless you conform to the gender expectations that we have. It's not me. So if she turns around tomorrow and is like, hey, yeah, I'm a boy again, then I'm like, great.
You just accept that that's what their opinion is, and you go forward.
Yeah, no, because they're kids. Like, she's been so consistent with it that at this point I'm like, no, she's trans. There's just no, like, it's been so consistent. But if she were to turn around and be like, no, I'm a boy again, I was like, okay, I accept you for who you are. I am not pushing anything on her.
The way that this works in most scenarios, there are always exceptions in everything medical, mind. So if you find the one instance where this is not the case, congratulations. You have decided never to have a sane conversation with a human being because you want to find an exception to every rule.
That's where you bring it back to the circumcision thing, where, like, yeah, it's completely pointless in 99% of cases, but there's 1% where it's medically useful, therefore the 99% are okay. It's the same thing.
So the way that gender affirming care works, the current accepted method, and I know that there are some changes that are happening to this in the field. I'm not an expert in this field. I study enough to be right about it. and I'm willing to be arrogant about this one because it is one of the ones I've read a lot on. And fun thing, I have a very fun video about autogynephilia for anybody that wants to try to make that claim. Where I actually went into the studies that were in the favor of the guy who argued for autogynephilia and found that 93% of women actually carry every single one of those traits as well, so the term is fucking pointless. It's useless in every way, shape, and form. But anyway, the way gender affirming care works for children is we do what's called a social transition up until the age of about 12 or 13. And a social transition is, quite frankly, yeah, you can wear different clothes. That's it.
Basically.
That's what a social transition is.
In my kid's
you can wear different clothes.
She goes by a different name and different pronouns.
Yeah, cool. That's fine. It doesn't harm anybody. It is literally a person saying, yeah, I'm going to try on this different identity for a little bit and see how it works. Mm-hmm. By the way, this is how every human being works with everything.
Cis kids do it too. Have you ever encountered a kid that has a nickname?
Correct. Have you ever made a name for yourself on a website? But, okay. After puberty, and we have to wait until puberty starts. This is actually the medically recommended thing to do. Once puberty has started, then puberty blockers can be used. And puberty blockers can be utilized for, at maximum, about 5 years. That's about the length we can do. So let me ask you the math on this. If person is getting into puberty around 12 or 13, and they are on puberty blockers for 5 years, what age are they at the time we have to take them off puberty blockers? What age are we looking at? We're looking at the age where they can drive a fucking steel death machine and kill somebody on the fucking highway. That's the age that they have to get off the puberty blockers when we allow them to drive fucking cars.
Mm-hmm.
So, once we are at that stage, then a question is presented. Do you still feel this way, or do you want to go through a standard puberty?
I hate to disagree, Cyrus, but it's I know you didn't mean this, but the way that came across, it could be seen as like there is no medical follow-up in that 5 years, just like you're now on puberty blockers for this long, and then at the end of it, how do you feel now? And it's like, no, we're checking in all throughout.
There's checkups like every few months during this, like with anything with a psychiatric medication. But at the end of those 5 years, or whenever it is decided that you come off of puberty blockers, once you get down to that point, the question is had, do you want to go through with your standard biological puberty, or would you like to go through the other puberty? And if you decide to go through the other one, we don't do any surgeries. We can't do any surgeries, actually. You have to go on HRT at that point, when you're at the ripe old age of 16 to 18. Again, the age where we let people drive steel death machines that can fucking kill a person on the highway.
If we're at that stage, let you enlist in the army and kill people with a gun.
Yeah, like if we're at that stage, you can handle a fucking drug at that point. So, once you're at that point, here's what happens. You have to be on HRT for 1 to 2 years before any surgeries are allowed, and that's even assuming that a surgery can even be approved for you. The reason is, let's say it's top surgery. Let's say you want boobies and you were assigned male at birth. You want boobies now. There is a chance that on HRT, you will end up with fucking double Ds.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you got breast implants beforehand, you will end up with the most severely misshapen things in your chest. That's not what any doctor wants, because that is not going to actually help you in any way, shape, or form. So they have to let you reach the end stage of that second puberty before they will allow you to engage in top surgery. Now, would any of you like to ask why I know this? It's not just because of my research. It's because my partner's going in for top surgery in a couple of months.
Yay.
So I know this from actual firsthand experience. Not just because I read an article on the internet, but because this is the life I live. That's so weird. As for bottom surgery, same thing. Did you know that if somebody who's assigned male at birth is on HRT, then I will quote my editor K Fox, on E too long, PP too small. That should give you an idea of what happens. So this is because when the hormones in the body are adjusted to that of female hormones, guess what? The part of the body that forms the penis is the same part of the body that forms a clit. So the penis starts to regress into something that is far more accurate to be called a clitoris. Likewise, when you have somebody who's assigned female at birth, if they are on HRT, they are going to go through the opposite of this, where they are going to get what's called an engorged clitoris, and it is going to start resembling a penis a lot more. It does not go all the way, because again, if you have gone through your puberty, if you've gone through all this stuff, then there is a likelihood that there is still some work that will need to be done at this point. Oh, by the way, that's when bottom surgery might happen. That is if you can actually get approved for it. But again, like with any surgery at this point, they need to see what your body is going to look like after it's adjusted to hormones before they can do anything, because just as an example, let's say they did penile inversion for you, which is not the main one that is used now. Pull through is what's used now mostly, but let's say that that's the one that's used. It would be really awkward if you had that canal shrink. Just as an example. Now, again, I'm not an expert. I don't know if that's exactly what would happen, but that is a consideration that a doctor has to go through. Likewise, if they're doing the inversion, they have to give you electrolysis on the penis so that you don't have hair inside you, because that's not healthy. So, fun thing, I've done a lot of research into this, because this is, again, the life that I live with the partner that I have. I know this entire process. From the moment of starting to the moment of ending.
Before you were knitted together in your mother's womb, he knew you. Okay, so that's enough dealing with this comment guy. We got to get through these articles because I pulled too many and it's late.
Sure thing.
So, did you hear the news that broke as we were on stream last week?
Hold on. Sorry, Thrag said a thing, and I started reading it, and it was weird. I may or may not respond to this. Said, okay, so extreme, hot take here, could get a ban. If a boy identified as a girl and is sexually abused or raped, could she, he, or it get pregnant? I don't know why that matters. A rape is a rape, irrespective of the chance of pregnancy.
Yeah, that's...
If you, as a guy...
That's kind of a fucked up question.
Yeah, if somebody shoved a dildo up your ass, would you wonder if you could get boy pregnant, or would you wonder why the fuck is this happening to me?
Yeah,
sorry,
like the person
extreme,
who did it should
could
go
get
to
a ban.
Prison. Yeah, no, that's just fucking dumb.
Said agreeing / supporting gender affirming. There is one scientific biological fact that life has taught me. Young adolescent men aren't born with uteruses or wombs. Also, thyroid bone differences. So, man, God, I need to introduce you to things like Klinefelters, because that statement actually is not true in all cases. But I'm not going to humor it anymore. I will just say, when you say life has taught me one scientific biological fact, I will say, I'm so happy that you think that, but there was literally... we have studies that show that you're wrong.
There was literally a man who went to the doctor in his 30s because he was bleeding out his penis. And it turned out that he was having his period from his uterus that he didn't know about until then. He had children that he had fathered, but he had a functioning uterus producing eggs and making him have a period that had him bleeding out his dick.
Yep.
Like,
so a thing that
biology is weird and wacky and not at all binary ever.
So a thing that I would suggest, I mean, obviously I would suggest the Sex and Sensibility video from Forrest Valkai. That's a given. But a thing that I would suggest is, when you think about human biology, think about how complex it is, how absolutely, sometimes needlessly, complicated it is. And then ask yourself why you feel like, when it comes to gender expression, this is the one thing that is straightforward. This one thing uniquely is straightforward compared to everything else in the human body.
Yeah, it's wild, especially from people like Dawkins, who are like evolutionary biologists. Like, motherfucker, you know that evolution works on variation, so why do you not think this trait has variation?
Yeah,
like,
so
that completely defies evolution.
That said, Thrag, I won't ban you for that. I have had people say far worse things in my chat, and you conversing in this chat means that on some level, in some way, there is a want to learn things. There is a curiosity. I would rather foster that curiosity than punish that curiosity. So you are welcome to be here as a member of my community.
If they're genuine questions that you want to know the answer to, then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like it's
it's when you ask them disingenuously, thinking that you're doing gotchas. That's when it becomes an issue, and that's kind of where they like, oh, does this person get pregnant if they're sexually assaulted? Like that doesn't...
Like, it sounds like you're trying to do a gotcha, and I understand there is a certain je ne sais quoi to the Reddit fedora. I get it, but it's not necessary.
Okay.
Anyway, let's continue.
Okay, continuing on with the news. So did you know what story broke as we were streaming last week?
No, I didn't.
Because it's like right up our alley.
Oh, wait, hold on. No, I saw you post about this. But go ahead.
Here we go. RFK Jr. cut a dead raccoon's dick off to study it while the family waited in the car.
You know that meme that's the dude going, hey, insert thing here, how are you doing? And then you see like some wild, wacky thing, and he just goes, oh, what the fuck? This is that. This is the guy go, hey, RFK Jr., how are you doing? Dude, what the hell?
So RFK Jr. is accused of once severing the penis of a roadkill raccoon for later study.
Later study.
So this is coming from a book by a journal. Okay, she's a New York Post journalist. So given that institution,
like
I'm going to say take what she says with a grain of salt, even though this tracks with everything we know about RFK Jr. But she apparently has access to some diaries that he wrote. I don't know how she got access to them, but like she wrote a book based on his diaries. He says, I was standing in front of, in this diary entry said, I was standing in front of my parked car on I-684, cutting the penis out of a road-killed raccoon, thinking about how weird some of my family members have turned out to be. Like, no, man, you're the weird one.
Yeah, that's, I'm sorry, my guy, but you are a strange one here.
Like, from now on, when people hear the name Kennedy, they are not going to think of the guy that got shot in the head on national TV. They're going to think of the guy who chops off raccoon dicks and whale heads and plants bears in Central Park.
They may still think of the phrase back and to the left, but it's going to be about filleting this shit now.
And so here's the thing. When I first read this, I was picturing it being like him as like a kid, a curious kid. It's like, I wonder what this is. Snip. I could see that. I fucking had to chase one of my kids out of the house because they grabbed a knife and started going down the road. I'm like, where the fuck are you going with that knife? So I caught them, took the knife away. What are you doing? There's a dead squirrel down the road. I wanted to poke it. I'm like, okay, no, absolutely not. But that's a 6-year-old.
Yeah, there's a level of weirdness you have to accept from the people who eat their own boogers.
Yeah. So like, no, like absolutely not an adult. It says, you have to understand, Bobby wanted to be a veterinarian as a kid. That doesn't mean you mutilate roadkill as an adult. His after-school job was at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. Better call up the zoo, make sure all their animals are okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about the animals now.
Yeah.
I was worried about the health of our country. Now I'm worried about the health of the animals.
Yeah. And he, so he's got a great love and interest in animals and a freezer full of roadkill, I'm sure, where he studies it. Okay. I wanted to be a vet as a kid. Does not end with I have a freezer of roadkill. That's Jeffrey Dahmer shit.
Are you sure it doesn't? I mean, come on.
No.
Come on.
No. I'm pretty sure my sister wanted to be a vet when she was growing up. I don't talk to her all that much, but I would be very surprised indeed if I found out she had a bunch of roadkill in her fridge.
Man, I just realized something. I think I know why I get so condescending when it's somebody talking in the chat versus when it's a conversation via mic. I have to pad to wait until they're able to type things back, and I just let myself get more worked up as I go. That's a personal
No, we're not talking to this person in your chat anymore.
Oh no, I'm not talking to them. Okay. It was just a realization I came to.
Okay. Yeah, and then
no, we're talking about squirrel dick.
So apparently the roadkill freezer is not something from his diaries. He actually told reporters that in 2024. I've been picking up roadkill my whole... Sorry. I've been picking up roadkill my whole life. I've reached full of it. Was that accurate?
I know that's ableist, but it's still funny.
I thought we adjudicated this when he was first nominated for this position. Because I was the one being all like, I don't want to make fun of the way he talks because I know it was because of the blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, no, fuck him, we're doing this.
Okay, so here's my position on this. Is it ableism? Binary question.
Sean's yes. Rhino, drink water afterwards. I've done that voice too. It hurts like heck.
So like, okay. Is it ableism to use that voice in reference to RFK Jr.? Absolutely. It is. 110%. Is it also funny? Yes.
Speaking of voices...
And I can't think of anybody who deserves our scorn more.
Speaking of voices, so I listened to a podcast called The No Rogan Experience. No is spelled K-N-O-W. So it's basically they'll like listen to an episode of Joe Rogan, they'll go over it, they'll summarize it, they'll explain the logical fallacies that were used, explain what's going on. Like this is how like I was like, the media
so it's a good response video.
It is basically. So the media for like weeks now has been like, oh, Rogan is finally turning on Trump. Rogan is turning on Trump because of this.
But he's becoming a JD Vance fanboy.
And then Rogan goes and he shakes Trump's hand at the UFC match, and he goes and stands behind him as he signs some bullshit or whatever. And a lot of people were surprised by that. Like, I thought he was turning on Trump. And because I listened to the No Rogan Experience, where they actually like go into the context of that, it was like, no, he is absolutely not turning on Trump. They're just clipping this one thing that out of context sounds like he's turning on Trump, but he is not. So I was not surprised by that. So it's a good podcast. The one that they just released today or yesterday or whatever, it was Joe Rogan and Russell Brand. I had not heard Russell Brand talk before. He sounds so ridiculous. I was not expecting that. I was expecting someone a little bit more serious sounding, but like, no, he just like the high pitched squeaky voice. Like, no, oh my goodness. It was like every time he talked, I was just like, this is someone doing a mean impression. This can't be him.
Okay, so I can't think of anything more cruel or funny than your voice sounds like the impression of somebody making fun of you.
That's Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro has that quality as well. It's like every time I hear Ben Shapiro talking, I'm like, oh yeah, he really does sound like that.
Yes, he does really sound like that when he says wet ass P word.
Yeah, no, you sounded a lot more serious than his actual voice. But yeah, no, Russell Brand, it was just like, I was not expecting him to sound like that. Anyway, they go over, I just need to remind everybody about the whale incident. He chopped the head off of a whale with a chainsaw, and then he put plastic bags over his kids' heads to protect them from the rancid whale juices that were spilling in the car as he drove down the highway.
Why?
Just like the number of things that is wrong with that sentence is so high.
There's
like the density of just wrongness there is going to collapse in on itself and create a black hole.
Like, you've hit critical mass of nope.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so yeah, that's the RFK raccoon dick story.
Man, that is a sentence that I wish wasn't accurate. The RFK raccoon dick story.
Mm-hmm. That's a thing we have talked about on this show now.
Yeah. Wish it weren't so.
Moving on. Minnesota DHS, that's Department of Human Services, not Department of Homeland Security, sues church over alleged misuse of $2.5 million in grants. We found the fraud in Minnesota, you guys. It wasn't the Somalis.
Like,
thank you to my anonymous source for sending this in.
Is anybody surprised that an organization that is able to have their books not looked at by the IRS might commit a little fraud once in a while?
Mm-hmm. And
anybody confused about that?
When we go through this story, you'll see that that's pretty much what they expected to happen here. They expected nobody to check up on them, so everything would be fine. So Jamie T0027 says, this is a wild thing to hear as I tune in. I'm assuming they jumped in just as we were talking about raccoon dicks. So, hi,
That
Jamie.
would be my guess.
So, the Minnesota Department of Human Services has filed a civil lawsuit against North Minneapolis Church, alleging it misused millions in taxpayer-funded grants intended for mental health, substance abuse, and violence prevention services. Guys, come on, use the Oxford comma. Is it really that hard? It's Zion Baptist Church accepted about $2.48 million between October 2022 and April 2025 through 2 state grant contracts, but failed to meet key requirements tied to those funds. The church breached his contract with the state and was unjustly enriched by retaining funds without sufficient evidence that the services were provided. It's like that was part of the contract, is you need to be able to show us receipts when we say, like, hey, what did you do with the money we gave you? You need to be able to show us what you did. So Zion was required.
I tell the IRS that I wrote off thousands of dollars of Magic the Gathering cards, it's because I bought thousands of dollars of Magic the Gathering cards. Also, I have to be right back. I am getting a call, and it is an important one. Hold on.
Is it the well? Well. If it isn't the well technician.
Hello?
Hi. Let's listen in on his call, guys. God damn, he moved too far away. Oh, God. I don't know if you saw that, but I put my ear to the microphone so I could hear his phone call better. Because that's how microphones work. I mean, microphones and speakers are the same thing. They're just reversed, right? So that it should work, right? Right? No, that's not how it works. Oh. He was originally going to take the roadkill home, but had to dump it inside. That was the bear that he dumped in Central Park. So if you recall that story, he grabbed the bear. Piper, you can tack this onto the raccoon dick story if you want. So he grabbed the bear. The way he said it was he saw someone hit the bear with his car, and then he was like, oh, fresh meat. So he grabbed the bear and intended to take it home and skin it and use the hide and everything or whatever. And then he remembered that he had to fly home. He was not driving home. So how do you not know that? Like, I have never had plane tickets booked and then been like, oh yeah, that's right, a flight. Like, no, that's a thing that you plan. So so when he realized that he had to catch a flight, he dumped the bear's body in Central Park and staged it to look like it got hit by a bike. So I don't know. I don't understand how he is like that. Why he is this is the guy in charge of your Department of Health and Human Services, guys. It really is depressing. Anyway, I can carry on with this while Cirrus is on the phone. So the church breached his contract with the state and was unjustly enriched by retaining funds without sufficient evidence the services were provided. They were required to use the funds for approved expenses, maintain documentation, and provide proof of services upon request. The Department of Human Services claims the church submitted records with numerous inconsistencies, billing irregularities, and other documentation problems. DHS added that failures to meet those standards can waste limited state resources and prevent residents from receiving essential services. So they're not just taking money from the government. They're taking money that was earmarked for their community and using it for not their community. So it's a limited pool of money that they have dug their hands into and been like, I'll just have that for myself now, thanks. When grantees fail to deliver contracted services, limited state funds are wasted and residents denied the crucial services they need. So Zion worked with a network of 17 sub-recipient agencies known as the Wellness Collaborative to deliver the services. However, DHS alleges that the church failed to properly oversee those organizations or document their work. An audit conducted by the Office of Internal Controls and Accountability identified several issues, including insufficient documentation to verify services, failure to complete a required audit, and concerns about how staff were paid. And this is where it gets really you thought it was scummy before this. I mean, this is the turn that we all saw coming a mile away. So yeah, it's extra scummy at this point. So in at least one instance, it showed that a Zion staff member submitted billing for identical time periods as a Zion employee, and on on the one hand, and as providing services through their own business on the other, and at least 5 current or former staff members also receive grant funds as contractors while also operating subrecipient agencies paid through the same grants. 3 of those individuals and their associate agencies received nearly $1 million, about 40% of the total grant payments. So basically what that is, the church took the money from the state, and then they were like, okay, well, to provide the services that we've promised to provide, we're going to hire these 17 other companies to do that instead of doing it ourselves. And most of the money that they took went to 3 people who all had contracting businesses or whatever, and they were supposed to provide those services, but now there's no documentation that they actually did anything with it. So the church just took the money and was like, we're hiring these guys to do it, and then gave them the money, and them just happened to be people that work for the church. So it's just straight up theft. Okay, Heidi's asking if I need food. I don't need food, but if you show up with food, I will eat it. Okay, service is still gone. What am I supposed to do? I don't know how to do news on my own. People are still talking about frickin' RFK Jr. here. Oh, okay. I'll move on. We don't have time for this. Cirrus, if you post this one on your channel, I am stealing the revenue from it because you weren't here for it, motherfucker. I'm just kidding. I won't actually do that. So, moving on. This was sent to me by Jassa. The Onion says it has again struck a deal to take over InfoWars. So if you remember a couple of years ago when InfoWars went bankrupt, The Onion was like, we'll have that. Oh, you're back? I see titties bouncing. That means you're back.
Okay. I have returned. I had to get the DoorDash order for Saki because... Oh. So I got us sandwiches earlier today, or I got her a sandwich in Mi Panda Express because we can't cook right now because no running water. And so, fun thing. When Saki went out because the well guy was out there, she left her sandwich in its container on the bed. And the dogs came inside. So I came inside and there was no sandwich anymore. There was evidence of what was once a sandwich.
Yep.
So I said, okay, well, it's not that I can really afford to do this, but that was your plan for dinner tonight, so I can replace that with whatever you want. And she goes, well, I was looking forward to a sandwich. And the last time we had this conversation, it was specifically autistically looking forward to it. That is the thing her brain says yes to, and all other foods say no right now. So I went ahead and ordered from one of the only sub shops that was still around. So a $10 sandwich costed $25.
Nice.
Because DoorDash. And I couldn't go get the sandwich because I was waiting on the fucking well guy while he was here. God, this is getting more expensive.
Well.
I wish I had one.
I'm glad I don't.
Just keeps fucking breaking.
You're the only person that I know of who is on a well, and the number of troubles you've had with it make me very happy that I'm not.
To be fair, I am in a unique situation where everything in my house constantly breaks.
I was going to say, to be fair, there could be a number of people that I know that are on a well that I just don't hear about it because it just works. Anywho, so you missed the church one. Basically, to summarize, the church took a bunch of money from the state to do things, and then they hired a bunch of contractors that also happen to be people that work at the church and gave most of the money to them and was like, now you do the things, but they didn't actually do the things. So
you're saying that the company has performed an internal investigation on itself and has found that the company has engaged in no fraud.
But that's not what the third-party audit found.
So what did the third-party audit find?
They found suspicious activity.
Wow, you don't say.
It's still at the stage where everything is alleged. Anywho,
Like, don't get me wrong, I've probably fudged a few numbers on my taxes, but I don't think I've done anything to the level of what they've probably done in this situation.
I would like $2.48 million.
I don't think I've earned $2.48 million
I didn't say I'd earned
in
it. I
my
said I'd
life.
like it.
Okay, you're right. You're right. There is a difference. There is a difference.
Honestly, has any millionaire actually earned it themselves?
One of my friends is a millionaire, and he got it because he lost the ability to walk in a settlement. So, I mean, if sacrificing your ability to function is not earning it, I don't know what the fuck is. But unique scenario.
I was thinking more like we were talking about millionaires, but my mind went immediately to billionaires.
Fair. Billionaires, 100% agree. Millionaire,
there are circumstances.
Yeah, you're guaranteed to make at least $1 million by the time you die if you are working in like the 40 and 50 and 60,000 a year.
Between have made a cumulative total of $1 million.
No.
Millionaire.
So, right, that's because that was half a thought. The other half of that thought is that in a situation where somebody gets destroyed, and it is in service of the company they're working for, and another company was involved, they basically pay you, here's the amount of money you would have made for the rest of your life in a lump sum as a settlement so that you don't sue us into fucking oblivion.
Okay. We got to power through these news articles. Onion bought InfoWars. Again.
Yes, technically.
It's not finalized again, but
Alex Jones has been fighting against that, saying that none of that happened. He's been very adamant about that.
Yeah, but since when has he ever told the truth?
You know what's funny? The guy he had on his show talking about that was a lawyer who has been known for representing a bunch of fucking weird-ass right-wing cases.
Alan Dershowitz?
I believe so.
He's just announced that he's no longer a Democrat.
I don't think it was a... Hold on, let me see.
And my reaction to that was like, you were a Democrat?
Let me see here. I know that he's got...
Dershowitz is the guy who represented O.J. Simpson and Jeffrey Epstein and Rudy Giuliani, maybe. I forget. I don't know. He's basically every high-profile, nasty person case you can think of. Like, he probably represented P. Diddy.
Wait a minute. Does Alex Jones's Twitter not exist?
Did his Twitter get taken down?
His Twitter doesn't exist anymore because it's considered
it's property of InfoWars.
It's in part of the lawsuit.
Is this recent?
It must have just happened because I covered this yesterday, and I covered it by using stuff from his Twitter.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I don't think it was. I don't think it was the O.J. Simpson guy. It was somebody else. It's in my search history somewhere. Okay. But I don't know who it was offhand.
Well, I don't care. Dershowitz is a piece of shit, so we can associate him with this anyway.
Okay.
But I like the concluding sentiment here. It says, if the past is any guide, Jones' public response will likely involve a good deal of shouting and a vow to remain on air no matter what. During a live broadcast on Monday after a viewer called to ask about the news, Jones said a new thing would soon be in place. Which, typically Jones' new thing means he set up another company in his parents' name, and then the judge goes like, no, you actually can't do that. That's very obvious what you're trying to do. So, meh. That's usually how this goes.
Mm-hmm. Sean says, it's in one of your videos. You can bring it up later. Yeah, I can... Yeah,
but we're not doing that now.
I can get the accurate version of this at a time where we're not on a timer. You're right.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to tweets yet, and it's 10:20. This is like old school tweets timeline.
To be fair, circumstances have been very different than normal.
I also read that whole ass article in the beginning. We didn't have to do that, but I wanted to.
That was really funny.
GOP convention in chaos after they require a photo ID to vote. This was sent to me by my anonymous source.
So the GOP convention of people who want voter GOP ID... Convention. Specifically, the people who really want voter ID over anything else in the world to stop all the fraud are upset that they needed ID.
No, it's not that they're upset that they needed ID. It's that they ran their convention and you needed to present ID in order to vote. And Okay, so they're pushing for a voter ID. They're pushing for a ban on mail-in ballots and everything. And so when they did this convention, they're like, okay, well, in order to vote, you need to show your ID. And then they counted all the votes, and they were like, huh, we got 90 more votes than there are people registered to vote.
That's so weird.
And
how did that happen?
There's not a huge number of people there. There was only like 2,000. So like, yeah, 90 out of 2,000, probably not enough to swing the results. Could be enough to swing the results, but it's still, that's a lot.
That shouldn't have been able to happen, though. They were required to have ID. That was the thing that would have fixed all the fraud.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so to be fair, I don't think it's the requirement for ID that actually caused them the issue. It was that they had this weird procedure where you had to like sign up for your badge, and your badge had a QR code, and you were supposed to scan the QR code on your way into the place where you would vote, and that's where you would show your ID and vote.
So
and everything.
You're saying that the actual problem is the systems surrounding the voting system, not necessarily the IDs, and focusing on the ID part would be a really weird mistake if you were trying to stop fraud, right?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I wish they could figure that the fuck out.
I was thinking more along the lines of, it doesn't matter, you're still like, this is extra barriers to being able to vote smoothly, and it got fucked up. So like, yeah, it might not have been specifically the ID, but like they apparently a bunch of people were just going in without scanning their QR codes. And so that's probably where those 90 extra votes came from.
Man.
Probably. But they say,
have I introduced you to Rachel Wilson?
No.
Do you know who Andrew Wilson is?
The name sounds familiar.
He goes by the moniker Big Papa Fascist.
I don't.
Rachel Wilson is his wife, and she believes that women should not be allowed to vote. She believes that her opinion is very important, so she believes that women should not be allowed to give their opinion. If we're talking about voting, I think that's funny as fuck.
So what I think is hilarious is always the people that are saying that women shouldn't have the right to vote, and they always frame it as though like women voted themselves the right to vote.
How did they do that then?
No, man, it was meant like, well, they frame it as be like, oh, well, if you ask women, they don't want the right to vote. They would never do this. Like anytime they've taken a poll on it, women don't want the right to vote. And be like, were they asking women to vote on things like that when women didn't have the right to vote? I feel like they weren't.
Orla, thank you for subscribing.
But anyway, former Arapahoe County Clerk Matt Crane was on hand to witness this mess, and he said, "I've never seen an election run by election officials, state or federal elections, that have been this much of a cluster." I imagine he said clusterfuck, but they just took the end off because it's a mainstream news article.
It's mainstream media, and they are cowards.
Because nobody just says, that was such a cluster. Yeah, it's like, no, you say that was a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
King Jader redeemed to highlight my message, says, voting with an ID? Well, I never thought.
I tend to not think a lot, too. I understand.
Yeah. So, yeah. The GOP suck at voting with ID.
Weird.
Actually, you know what? There were too many words of that sentence. Just the GOP suck.
The GOP suck at voting.
So many things they suck at.
Yeah, especially when CPAC comes around. Holy shit.
Okay, we can skip the last news item. It wasn't anything terribly important. Elon Musk is inflating the Cybertruck sales by buying them himself through SpaceX. That's all it was. Oh, you didn't know about that?
No.
Okay, well, I'll touch on it briefly. Elon Musk buys a fifth of his own Cybertrucks. So Tesla doesn't release these numbers publicly, but you can, I guess they can access them by like looking at vehicle registrations.
Uh-huh.
And so they can kind of guess. And of the 7,071 Cybertrucks that were registered in the fourth quarter of 2025, 1,279 of them were done so by SpaceX. So that's 18% of registrations of Cybertrucks in that quarter were Elon Musk buying them himself with one of his other companies.
That's pathetic.
Uh-huh.
That is little lost lonely child levels of pathetic.
It's Elon Musk. What else would we expect?
Man, I remember when he was liked.
I remember that as well. I never really understood it though. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be like one of these people. Like, I always saw through him. It was just like anytime there was a big deal of something that Elon was doing, it's like, okay, he made a train again, except not a train.
Except a bad one with a tunnel. Like, I remember when the only person who really was covering how shit Elon Musk was Thunderfoot. That like, of note, that was about it.
Oh, broken clocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh, Thunderfoot. I forgot he existed.
Man, I remember when people thought that Anita Sarkeesian was going to end video games as we knew it. Weird time to be on the internet, let me tell you.
It was. So many people obsessed with her.
And, like, don't get me wrong, some of her takes, kind of garbage. I get it. But she wasn't that fucking important, actually.
Yeah, but even of her garbage takes, they weren't anywhere near as garbage as they were made out to be.
They weren't as garbage as literally everything Asmongold says.
Like, yeah, absolutely. But like the people that were obsessed with her would just like they would freak out over every little thing she said, and then you hear what she actually said, and it's just like, yeah, that's not like the best thing ever, but like, why are you so mad about it?
Yeah, like, why does this matter to you?
Even if what she's saying happened, who fucking cares? It's nothing. But yeah. Okay, well, that's it for news. On to the tweets.
Now we get to make fun of people on Twitter.
I am going to warn you, this is a very K-Sorb heavy one tonight. It's not starting with K-Sorb.
I am okay with that.
But like, normally, like recently, he's just been retweeting other people's stuff and not commenting on it. But this past week, he was saying so many things and they were so dumb. So I got so many screenshots. But we're starting with Dale Partridge, who says part of the Great Commission is for Christian nations to incentivize their native populations to have children and to disincentivize foreign immigration.
The foreign immigration part, I don't think that that's actually in most places of the Bible. As for the children part, I mean, yeah, the be fruitful and multiply, all that shit.
No. Do you want me to read the Great Commission to you?
Sure, why not?
Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am always with you to the very end of the age.
Wait, wouldn't that mean that to convert those people to Christianity, it would be better to get them into our Christian nation to convert them?
I mean, but that is the entirety of the Great Commission. It says nothing about having more babies. It says nothing about denying immigrants. It says nothing like it says to make disciples of all nations. So I could see that being twisted from a Christian nationalist perspective, being like, yeah, no, you are supposed to have Christian nations. So I could see that argument being made. That's not what he's actually saying, but there's an argument for it. But everything else that he's saying,
it's one of those, I can see your perspective. It's a shit perspective, but I can see your perspective.
Yeah, but the whole rest of that with like having more babies for Christians and having less babies and having less immigration or whatever, like none of that's there. None of it. There's not even an implication of it there. Like, if anything, it's like you are supposed to be the immigrant. You are supposed to go to the other nation to make disciples of them.
So they want everybody to be being missionaries.
I mean, that is why it's called missionary visit. Oh, apparently Heidi's home with the fries and they're not great.
That's unfortunate. I wish I had fries.
The Institute for Creation Research says the global flood of Noah explains the fossil record by providing the sediment required to rapidly bury billions of plants and animals.
And where's the peer-reviewed article that says that?
So my thing is, this was just a back-of-the-envelope calculation, so it would not surprise me if I had made some critical error. But in a video a little while ago, I did do a rough calculation of how much organic limestone is on the planet and how many...
Tasty limestone.
Hi.
They're not great because they're mine.
Oh. Okay. To The fries aren't great because they're her fries that she got for herself. She likes them better when I get fries and she steals them.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Food always tastes better when you steal it from your significant other.
Yep, that's actually. I don't know if she's watching, but one of the things that I'll sometimes do is I'll get a fries for me, and then I'll get a small fry, and then she likes her food plated, so while she's not looking, I'll like the small fry gets on hers, and then the garbage gets disappeared. I'm pretty sure she knows I do that, but anyway, yeah, no. So I did the calculation on like just roughly, like I found a video of a guy in the Amazon like making bricks out of snail shells, and so I'm like, okay, this is how many snails it took to make that size of a brick. So I'm gonna like cut the number of snails in half just to be generous, and then figure out like how much limestone this would, like how many snails would it take to make the amount of organic limestone is on the planet. And basically the number I came up with, and then when I got my final number, I cut it in half just because I'm like, you know what, there is organic limestone and non-organic limestone. I couldn't really find any solid numbers on the ratio there, so let's just cut my number in half just to assume that I'm overestimating everything. And you need 11 Earths whose entire surface is not just the land surface, the entire surface is covered in Empire State Building size buildings filled with snails in order for all those organisms to have been alive at the same time.
I'm not French enough to want that.
I'm not French, and I actually do like escargot, though. If you had escargot, it's pretty good.
I have never had the stomach to try.
Well, it's pretty good.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. Frog legs are also pretty good.
Those ones not big on either.
There's not enough meat for it to be worth it. But it's one of those things that, like, I saw it and I'm like, yeah, I'll try it.
I've had frog's legs. Not a big fan.
Okay. I had gator meat when I was in Florida.
Gator's good.
I don't understand why people like it so much.
It's just
like,
swamp chicken.
Yeah, it's like chicken that tastes not quite as good and is tougher.
But when it's deep fried and dipped in Tabasco and ketchup,
at that point you're tasting Tabasco, ketchup, and whatever breading they use in the deep fryer.
Yeah.
Like you can do that with chicken nuggets.
Good. It tastes good, so I'm happy.
Okay. Next up, Jack Posobiec says, we are now only one step away from confirming January 6th was staged. Okay, did you hear about this?
No.
Okay.
What?
This isn't quite the... Okay, so this is... I'm pretty sure this is what he's alluding to, but yeah, here we go. He said, we now know that Charlottesville was a complete hoax from top to bottom. Scott Adams was 100% vindicated. Did you hear about this?
No, this is...
So this is only being reported by the extreme right-wing media, like the Daily Caller, shit like that. So what happened is Trump's Department of Justice has filed charges against the SPLC because they...
I did see this a little bit because I saw people saying the SPLC is an Obama organization.
Okay, I didn't see any of that, but yeah, no. So the SPLC, they had one guy on their payroll who was an informant who was in the group chat that organized the Charlottesville rally. So because they had one guy that they were paying to be an informant about the Charlottesville rally, the whole rally to them now was paid for by the SPLC.
Do they know what spying is?
Yeah, here's the thing, like, and so first off, this is coming from the Trump DOJ. So like, I am very skeptical that these charges have anything backing them up. If they do, if it turns out that this is 100% true, what that means is that one person was paid to be there. And they're taking that as being like, they're all paid protesters. Meanwhile, like, there was actually a person killed with a car. And even if the whole thing was staged, every single person there was paid to act like a white supremacist neo-Nazi. Trump still called the white supremacist neo-Nazis very fine people.
Yep.
So like,
it's one of those things
did he get paid by the SPLC?
It's one of those things where even if we take everything that you're saying as true, it doesn't mean what y'all think it means.
but they found one person that was being paid to be an informant. So like to tell them like, hey, these are the white supremacists and this is what they're doing. Like that is so far from paying to stage the whole thing. But like, yeah, because of this, they're now like, yeah, no, we're one step away from confirming January 6th was also staged. It's like you haven't even, like, even if everything they said is true, you haven't confirmed that Charlottesville was staged. And even if Charlottesville was staged, the president still called Nazis fine people. Yes, I know. He came out later and was like, oh, I didn't mean the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis. But he said there's very fine people on both sides. One side was all white supremacists and neo-Nazis. The other wasn't.
Yeah, you can say that you didn't mean it the way that you said, but like...
There's no other way he could have meant it.
Like, you still said it that way, though. But...
yeah, and people are talking about Scott Adams in the chat. He's the Dilbert guy. He made Dilbert, and he... so I guess what happened to him was he had a condition where he physically lost his ability to speak for several years. And so his only outlet was, like, during that time, he just spent way too much time on Twitter. And, like, he was already kind of a right-wing asshole. And if you're already kind of a right-wing asshole, and now the only thing you do 24/7 is sit on Twitter, that's not going to make it better. So he went down the fucking rabbit hole, and he was a piece of shit. And he died because he went for alternative cancer treatments for his very treatable cancer. And then by the time he went for the real treatments, because the alternative ones weren't working, it had progressed too far, and that is why he died. So take your doctor's advice when you have cancer and shit. Don't take fucking Russell Brand's advice.
Rip Bozo?
I don't know what you just said.
You've never heard Rip Bozo?
No.
Rest in peace, Bozo?
Oh, so in my brain, you were like naming a streamer or something. Like there's going to be some right-wing nut job named Rip Bozo.
I mean, there's probably some right-wing nut job named Rip Bozo. I don't know.
Probably. It sounds like a right-wing nut job's name. Someone sign up for Twitch at Rip Bozo and start streaming. Kevin Sorbo. So he's retweeting Nick Freitas, this is about the Virginia gerrymandering thing, which I am against gerrymandering, but as long as the Republicans are doing it, if it's the only way to even things out.
Yeah, if they're doing it, so
like, I would be fine passing a national, like if y'all passed a federal law banning it, that would be fine.
Yeah, I am of the opinion that when there is a tool that your enemy is allowed to use, per escalation theory, they have invited you to use the same tool. If you believe that is not the case, then I hope you never find yourself in a conflict, because you will not handle it.
Yeah. So Kevin Sorbo says, Republicans play by the rules and think their opponents are doing the same. Democrats hate everyone who isn't them and wish death upon them. The parties are not the same.
Wait, no, we've been having the criticism of Democrats for years that they were playing by the rules and they should fucking stop.
Yeah, because the fucking Republicans have been gerrymandering the shit out of all these states for, like, Texas is the one that started this. If Texas didn't do their thing, then California and Virginia and what was the other one? There's another one that did it. I forget. I don't know. These other states would not have done their gerrymandering in response. Now, I kind of hope things stay the way it is before the election, because my understanding is that the analysts have looked at possible gerrymanders, and the Republicans do have more to gain if everyone goes in on it than the Democrats do. Mm-hmm. So I kind of hope, like, I'm at this point, I'm like rooting for the slowness of the American system. Like, will the bureaucracy hold it up long enough that the Democrats can actually get in and then hopefully pass a fucking national ban on gerrymandering? It's like, if you read the text of the Virginia thing, it basically resets in 2030. They're just like, hey, this is a direct response to the Texas thing, so we're just doing like a one-time exception to do this when it's not a census here, but it resets at the 2030 census.
Like, isn't gerrymandering technically by the books illegal, but not in a way that matters?
Yeah. Something like that. Next, we got Kevin Sorbo again. So this was a video of a white South African took refuge in America and started farming to help contribute. And then Kevin says, if only all migrants could be like this.
Okay, but statistically, most of them are.
Like statistically, who do you think is working the farms?
Like the stats bear out that the reality that you want is the reality we already live in.
Like, that's not... I'm not saying it's necessarily a good thing that all the immigrants end up doing the really rough menial labor that is underpaid and they get exploited because at any moment their boss could call ICE on them and they know it. Like, that's a bad thing.
But it is a reality of the world we live in.
It is a fact that migrants that come to the States are way more likely than anyone else to be farming. It's like, I don't understand how these people can be so dumb.
They get their facts from... Okay, so do you remember years ago? Do you remember years ago?
I don't remember this morning, Cyrus. What the fuck is wrong with you?
When President Bush coined the term alternative facts.
No, wasn't that Trump's first press secretary in 2016?
No. Alternative see here. President Kellen Conway during a meet and press January 22, 2017. I could have sworn this was a Bush thing.
It was a Kellyanne Conway thing. That's how long Trump has been around for, Cyrus.
I thought it was a fucking Bush thing.
Yeah, no, it was Kellyanne Conway, motherfucker.
Oh my god. I
can remember things!
I feel wrong and old.
Oh, good lord. Okay, anyway, you were saying about alternative facts?
So, I am not surprised that these people get things wrong all the time because this is the party of alternative facts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like you can't have your guy be the guy that started the alternative facts thing and then be upset when your view of reality doesn't actually match reality. Kevin Sorbo again says tolerance is not a Christian virtue. We can tell, Kevin.
Yeah, maybe that's, a problem with Christianity. Maybe that's something that you should think about and meditate on for a little bit. Maybe tolerance is a good thing, actually.
Yeah, but you're not going to... Yeah, but you tolerant wokey left aren't going to be tolerant of my intolerance.
Man, the tolerance paradox is a thing. I actually got for the first time ever, there's a gaming group that I'm in on Facebook that made a post saying, hey, our rules are to have the chats here be like the old chats on the Xbox 360 and PS3. And I just said, the good old tolerance paradox strikes again. And that message got deleted by the admin, and I thought it was the funniest fucking thing.
They weren't tolerant of your intolerance of the intolerance.
That is the funniest thing.
Oh, good lord. K-Sorbs again says, the right controls the House, the Senate, and the presidency. How is it that we can't pass a single bill that Americans actually want?
Because y'all are not the party that does things that Americans
want?
Yeah,
it's because the right controls the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Your answer's in the first part of the question.
Like, your answer was written on the tin, guy. I'm sorry that you didn't like the answer, but it's there.
Oh, he's so dumb, Cyrus.
He is.
I mean, what do we expect from the guy whose most well-known role is him being the muscle man?
I'm disappointed.
I mean, disappointed! To be fair, the role that I find him most memorable in is that of Revelation Road 3, when he's the guy putting on the really bad accent where they had to grind the movie to a halt so that the actors could address the fact that his accent was so bad within the movie. It was his best performance ever. Love it. Like, David A.R. White, the Christian movie actor, is a better actor than Kevin Sorbo. That's pathetic. All right, and this was in response to Kevin Sorbo asking why we can't pass any bills when the right controls everything. So Ron G says many of the right are actually left, just masquerading as right. Which ones?
Yeah, who?
I'd like to know that. And
I want
James seems to think it's almost all of them.
like can you please tell me which ones are the Republican version of the Clergy Project so I can go talk to them? Please?
Yeah.
Because that's what that is.
Like which Republicans are all for LGBTQ rights? Which ones want the child rapist to be put in jail? Did you see The Onion put out a video? It was like a news guy being like, "Oh, the GOP is having a bit of a schism. There's one section of the party that really supports pedophiles, and one section of the party that only mildly supports pedophiles." And like they did this whole news segment on it, and it was just it was the most honest reporting that I've seen in a very long time. Oh, so good.
Jesus Christ.
The Onion's going to do great things with the InfoWars thing. They're already selling merch with the logo, with the InfoWars, but with the Onion in the O.
Yeah.
Will Sexton says, saying Jesus was Jewish is like saying George Washington was British.
He
was.
You know that he was.
He was British.
He also, Jesus was still a Jewish citizen. Like Judea was in Rome at the time.
The majority of Christians for the first 100 years of its existence were Jewish.
Were Jews.
Like
yeah.
There were instances like, so one of the things Christians bring up all the time is how persecuted the early Christians were in the Roman Empire. You know who was protecting them from persecution? Jewish people. They would take them into the synagogues and be like, no, these are Jews. And the Christians would be like, yeah, we're here at synagogue because we're Jews. It wasn't until after 70 CE when the temple was destroyed that and even then there were still instances of Jewish people protecting Christians, but like that is when the schism kind of started, where the Christians were kind of differentiating themselves from the rest of Judaism. And you can actually see this in the Gospels, because like the later the Gospel was written, the more likely it is to be hostile to the Jews, with John being the worst offender.
It's so weird that we let the apocalyptic cult of Croesus continue to do its thing for as long as we did. Anyway.
I do like the 19th Ode to Solomon. Have we talked about this on stream before?
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm going to read it to you verbatim. Because it's just, it's too good. A cup of milk was offered to me, and I drank it in the sweetness of the Lord's kindness. The Son is the cup, and the Father is he who was milked, and the Holy Spirit is she who milked him, because his breasts were full, and it was undesirable that his milk should be ineffectually released. The Holy Spirit opened her bosom and mixed the milk of the two breasts of the Father. Then she gave the mixture to the generation without their knowing, and those who have received it are in perfection of the right hand.
And the right hand does some milking too, let me tell you. Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, so God the Father has big manly milkers.
Man, if God the Father has milkers, does that make Jesus a femboy?
Yes. No, God is the femboy. Jesus is the cup. Jesus is the one on the receiving end of the milk.
You're right. He's the bottom.
Yes,
you're right.
yes.
I'm sorry.
And the Holy Spirit is in the middle, doing the actual, and so the best part about this is that this poem was written around the same time as the Gospels. And because the Gospels don't actually have a reference to the doctrine of the Trinity, neither does, none of Paul's writings actually explicitly lay out the Trinity. This is in the running for being the earliest Christian, the earliest surviving reference to the actual doctrine of the Trinity.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, that's what they were doing, it sounds like.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right.
So yeah, that's my favorite Christian poem. There's also an apocryphal gospel where in the birth narrative, suddenly a midwife shows up and she has to check Mary to make sure she's still a virgin. And so she sticks her hand in, to make sure the hymen's still there, and then Mary's vagina burns off her hand.
What?
Yeah.
I'm such a virgin, I have a radioactive coochie.
Yep, basically. Early Christianity was wild, man.
And it's a lot less fun now.
It is. Could you imagine if whatever sect wrote about the father with his big daddy milkers, like if they had been the sect that won out historically, they'd be so much more trans affirming. Anyway,
You aren't wrong.
this is the last tweet, so.
Oh, well, now I'm sad. I was having fun with those.
Were you? I mean, I could read more of the odes. I can't guarantee that. Like, I don't know all of the crazy parts in them. I haven't read them all.
You
And
don't have
most
to
of it's
do
probably
that.
boring.
You don't have to milk it any lower than you already have.
Oh no, I forgot about the end of 19. So the second half of it is about the birth. And so Mary being so the virgin became a mother with great mercies, and she labored and bore the son, but without pain, because it did not occur without purpose. And she did not require a midwife, because he caused her to give life. She brought forth like a strong man with desire, and she bore according to the manifestation, and she acquired according to the great power, and she loved with redemption and guarded with kindness and declared with so Mary gave birth like a man.
She didn't just take it like a man. She popped it out of her coochie like a man.
Yeah, so
Popped Jesus out like
God
a
the
particularly
Father-
solid shit.
God the Father has massive tits, and Mary gives birth like a man.
I love this show. I learned so much here. It's also useful in my everyday life.
Ode to Solomon 19. Everybody look it up. It's on earlychristianwritings.com.
Mary gave birth like a man.
There's a manly birth. Okay, well, that's it for us. Are you streaming afterwards?
For a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I feel like you didn't have anything set up.
So I actually did have some stuff set up for today, because I set it up yesterday.
Got a running whatever your pet's name is.
Of a running what?
Whatever this thing is. I forget what it's called.
Oh, Blizzy.
Yeah, Blizzy. Okay, well, that's it for this stream. We're going out on the Father's Milkers. So,
You know,
thanks for joining us, everybody. And as always, fuck off.
I think the Father's Milkers are great.